Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to this week's new episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. BoomStick and Friends. And folks, here we are. It's Wednesday. I hope everyone had an amazing holiday for the 4th of July. Hopefully it was safe for you and yours, that you had fun, you barbecued, you ate too much food. Now we're back to the podcast grind. We are now currently every Xbox gamer from here to Texas all the way back. We're all waiting. We're basically on judge watch, right? Obviously, Judge Corley is going to levy her decision, hopefully sometime this week. Speaking with Foss Patents, who kind of knows a thing or three about what's going on, he thinks that it might be the end of the week because that's when the Gamers lawsuit information came out late Friday. I hope that's not in fact the case. I do hope that it is before then, maybe we get it Friday morning rather than Friday evening. Hopefully, it's going to be a positive decision. I think a lot of people are like myself are a little bit uneasy because, obviously logic and evidence should be a contributing factor as to why the deal should go through. But like Hogue Law continues to say, you can't account for crazy. And the one thing I will have to say is that if you listened or you've ever seen any parts of the 4 days that we were privy to as people that can jump into the Zoom, where you got a chance to watch someone stream it, which was probably illegal to do. There's one thing that I think I can say full heart and wholeheartedly is Judge Corley doesn't mess around. She really does know her stuff, and she goes by the letter of the law. So we will ultimately see. Today's show, folks, though, we're going to talk some Starfield because I think that it has already gotten into legendary status, and the game isn't even out for another 2 months. And people might say, well, but what are you talking about legendary? The game hasn't come out. Have you watched the Direct like I have almost a dozen times? Every time I put on that Direct, and maybe I'm crazy, right? Like, well, why you watched so much? Because it's one of my most anticipated games. It's a Bethesda joint, and I'm looking forward to it. We also have confirmation that Gamescom, Microsoft is going to have boots on the ground for Xbox. It just so happens they're also going to be at the Tokyo Game Show, and it has been confirmed it is going to be the biggest Tokyo Game Show ever. And for fun, folks, we're going to talk about, well, I don't know about you, about any of you Xbox guys and gals. Maybe you're not in the same status as me. I got a house. I saw some people out there talking about they cashed their shield checks and only bought Maseratis and things. Poof! For you, I have a mansion. And as a matter of fact, the keys were FedEx to me yesterday. And, well, I'm moving in next week. It's pretty dope. But, I mean, come on. People are just... Have you guys seen some of the videos that people are making about Xbox gamers actually being paid to be shills? This is like the craziest thing. And I would imagine that Hargeet Chani, it's something sauce related is going to have to come out of this. It has to, because it's gas. And you know what? Yep. I would even say that if it's septic sauce, I want in, because
that's where we're gonna put it.
Yeah,
I mean, I was texting him like right in the middle of the morning, like at 5 a.m. my time. It's like, dude, we got to put this together. Here's what we're doing. He already has plenty of ideas as well, but we are definitely doing that.
I love it. It's going to be fun because there were actually people, and I'm not going to mention any names. We don't do that here. That were literally doing videos and having podcasts, and they were running with this. Like, I mean, people were serious. When I first saw it, I was like, yeah, this is a joke. But then someone started linking some things, and I don't like to click on these things, so I don't want to give anybody a view for stupidity. But there were actually people, Hargeet, that were like, yeah, and Xbox, that's why they're so popular, because, well, their shield checks being mailed. And I'm like, for real? Because I haven't even gotten a controller, let alone a check. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still not on the controller list. So, Hargeet, how you feeling, brother? Welcome back.
Yeah, I mean, that actually was rather amusing. I found that they're entertaining. Now, look, I hope it's just that they're misguided, right, and it's not other issues in their life or something like that, because that could also happen, and this is how they're lashing out or something. Then that's sad. But we're taking it as comedy, and that's how we're gonna play this. This is comedy to me. Like, you really believe this crap? Fine, we're gonna make fun of it, totally run into it, and make fun of the whole thing. That's how we're gonna take it. So you look forward to the sauce video that's coming.
I can't wait.
But outside of that, I'm anxious, waiting for this damn stupid result from the judge. What way are we going? I just want this over with. Like, what are we getting for a decision so we can move on? I'm hoping it goes the right way, because then we have more acquisitions to do. If we don't, then the whole question of acquisitions comes into play.
It really does. Yeah.
Like,
yeah. You know what? That's a fantastic point, Hargeet. I kind of want you, we'll elaborate on that a bit, because everyone, I know we've seen it. We've talked about it. I've talked about it in circles with other people. And it's like, oh, yeah, but if they don't get this, they're going to get something else. But are they? Because if this is blocked, what this ultimately does is set a terrible precedent, because the running narrative from government, folks, if just to pause the show for a second, is the ideology, and this comes the way of Keosante and even Everborn. Microsoft is too big to buy something else. So what does that mean? That means that they're finished. They can't ever acquire anything else because they're Microsoft. They can't advance the Xbox in any way, which is ridiculous. It's preposterous at best, but it is what it is. Keosante, how you feeling, brother? Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, it's an interesting couple of days, and it's going to be an interesting couple more days to come. We have a theory, though. I was actually, believe it or not, myself and Everborn Saga, as we do, we were chatting on the phone, and we were really thinking it through, and we can expound on this a bit later. But if you really think about it, if you are a diehard Xbox person, right, or you're a podcaster, you kind of want this injunction to be upheld. And we may expound on that a little bit later, because learning what we have learned now, if this is not an option, the alternatives might be better. Just a thought, but we'll get into a bit more.
Again, for me personally, the precedent that might be set, Wandering Dutch, is
no doubt.
Yeah,
we're joking. We don't want that to be the case.
Right. Because I'm concerned with your Microsoft. You can't buy anyone else because you're too big, but you're in third place. But that's okay. That's perfectly fine. That's okay. It's again, if we're gonna go based on law and fact, and I was very, very fortunate. I got into the 4 days, all 4 days. I was able to get into the Zoom calls. I was able to listen to the whole trial or the hearing, whatever you want to call it. And I was incredibly impressed with the tenacity of Judge Corley, where she called it out when she saw it. Even when Microsoft made a boo-boo, she jumped in and she was like, "Whoop, hold on a second, you got to clarify." But I did not find that happening very often with Microsoft, as I did with the FTC. Just kept bumbling. But Dutch, brother, welcome back, man. How you feeling?
Yeah, feeling good. I can't wait to see the cope and the salt that comes out of a picture of me and my good friend Aaron Greenberg when we have a nice beer at Gamescom.
That's gonna be nice. You got you and Box are going this year, right?
Yeah, me, Box, Gaz.
Oh, nice, nice.
So will you be negotiating your package as a bot?
Yeah, I'm just gonna pick my check up. Yeah, I'm gonna get my check directly from Phil Spencer when I'm doing.
I love it. Good on you, man. I thought I was gonna get a note from Phil. All I got was from Xbox saying thank you. I mean,
Yeah, beer's on the house, of course. I'm not paying, so. I kid, but you can't put photos up with friends without getting called.
It's sickening, but it's
mad. But it's like it's as if these executives aren't just people. People just assume that they are just executives and they don't know these people personally, which they do. But never mind. It's I've been good. I've been obviously away from here, but that's mainly because a high pollen count and hay fever are just draining you after a long day. So it's hard to be enthused to try and talk late that night, as you can imagine when you're completely run down. So, bit better this week though. Pollen count's really low, so I'm feeling a bit better, feeling a little bit more energized. But good to be back. Good to be back indeed, and celebrating 3 years of the midweek mix-up this today, which has been awesome, and only 6 away from 2K.
Oh man, that's awesome! Come on, man. We got 400 people here. If you're not already, drop that link in there so we can get you to the 2K, dude. Come on, there's got to be 6 people here that aren't subscribed. I mean, that's huge. Come on, man. Drop that link in there. But we'll come back to you in a second because obviously we're going to cover Starfield, which I really want to talk about. I'm super stoked. I'm not the only one. If you listen to Randall Thor talk about it, if you listen to Jez Corden talk about it. Like I was listening to the Xbox 2 podcast from last week's, this week's, and the way Jez was talking about it, he's on cloud 9, and I don't blame him. I think it is going to be. I already think the game is generational, and I haven't even put an hour into it. I just think from what we've seen, and the fact that this thing has had loads and loads and loads of polish. We're in for a treat. Xbox fans are definitely in for a treat. But welcoming back, One Bad Mother. It has been a minute, brother. How the heck are you?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure you guys didn't change the key locks. You know, it looks like everything works.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I was. Everything's been good. It's been a lot of work at work. Because I'm not yet in the Illuminati, so unfortunately, I'm still waiting to get those checks. But honestly, it's just therapeutic to be here with you guys talking about some gaming things, and Starfield is something that it's probably the most I've looked forward to a single game in a long time. So the fact you mentioned it, I was like, hey, I'll make some time, and like I said, just making sure I can still can unlock the back door and get into the podcast. And it's great to see you guys.
It's great to have you back, brother, and we're going to get into it. So I want to pull an article that for the show, as I do, and it's from PureXbox.com. It was written by Liam Doolin. It was posted this morning, and Dutch. It goes on to say Todd Howard, or God Howard to many, says that Xbox's support on Starfield has been nothing short of incredible, and it has allowed the team at Bethesda to be unbelievably ambitious. Now, if there's anything that we can say about Starfield, it is ambitious AF. And the fact that I know there was some disappointment with the 30 versus the 60. That to me, I could care less, because 30, they're looking for cinematic. I'm good for that. I know there was also some concern about, well, there's no vehicles, right, outside of you flying in outer space, which I think should be enough. But the way it was broken down regarding vehicle or movement on the planets is through the jetpack, which is what it's meant to do. It's according to Todd Howard, very powerful. But this is what Todd Howard had to say during this interview. He says this: what we're focusing on is what we can do on this game. And I'll say that Xbox has been their support has been incredible on this. Phil and Matt Booty and the team over there. Obviously, we worked with them for a long time, going back 20 years with Morrowind. But being a part of Xbox and their support, it really has allowed us to be ambitious and take these risks. Fingers crossed. Now, the way that you start to hear people talk about this game is, I mean, we're talking. First of all, there's a fever's pitch, Dutch, that we have not seen for specifically an Xbox first-party game in a very long time. So, of course, I'm excited for that. I actually think that this game has already received enough hype, enough excitement, enough pizzazz, if you will, with what we've seen to already have legendary status. Again, the way some people are talking about this game and what they're looking to do. A person like Pong Soul, good friend of ours, great friend of the community, right? I consider him to be an extension of my family. I call him brother all the time. That dude can't stop dreaming about this game. Where do you fall on the legendary status? Is this game that?
It can very well be. It can very well be. I think it's it's obviously Tom's been very vocal about the fact that it's the game he's been wanting to make for a very long time. It's kind of his next big idea. It's his first new IP in 25 years. So it means something to him, and I think having the ability to focus solely on one platform, have it polished as highly as it possibly can do, that extra year, essentially forced year from Microsoft, the way they kind of put the foot down and just said, listen, take your time, like, do not rush this game out, polish it, get rid of as many bugs as you possibly can, and put out a game that is as good as it can be. And we've seen the stark difference between what it was last year to what it is this year in the polish, in the level of detail, the lighting, the gameplay, and everything compared to even just the showing last year to this year is a significant difference. So, yeah, it's very well got an opportunity to become one of the greats. And I think the sheer size and what you can do with the game, and you can pirate ships and steal them or sell them or upgrade them or keep them for your collection, or you can go and create a huge base and create huge mammoth ships for yourself, or you can go and do trading missions, or you can go and be some kind of harvester, or just literally go and pirate around the world or worlds, planets. It's because of its and this is why people love Bethesda. Their big role-playing games is because it's everyone's story is different. Everyone's game is different. No one does the same thing, and no one can do the same thing, and everyone's plays differently. No matter how many Skyrim streams you see, no one's got the same playthrough. Like, something random happens to everybody. Some weird things kick off, and things don't go the same for everybody that plays it. So you never see the same thing twice. There's always going to be funny moments. There's going to be really great moments throughout it, and there's absolutely no doubt that this is going to be the next Skyrim anyway. And I think there's going to be it's going to do big numbers. I can't see it any other way around it. The game's going to do some big numbers. It's going to be really good to see, and I'm super looking forward to it. Much like everybody else, I think I've already invested. I was looking forward to it anyway, and then I seen the Starfield Direct, and now I've got the premium edition pre-ordered, so that kind of explains that. But it's just the sheer size and scale and what you can do in the game. And I think everybody as well, immediately when they said you can build your own ships and create any kind of ship that you want to, everybody started thinking, what kind of like famous ship from movies can we create on here?
The mods are going to go crazy with this.
Yeah, I'm personally going to build the Event Horizon, or at least attempt to build the Event Horizon. I think that's an awesome one to go for, at least try. I know there's a few people doing things like the Millennium Falcon or the Normandy or things like that. So it's going to be awesome to see what people create and come up with, and then of course watch everybody else's shenanigans on their streams and see what the gameplay looks like, because there's going to be some funny streams out there as well. So it's going to be a good time.
Before I let you go on the Starfield talk, are you going to be a pirate, or are you going to be what you're looking to do? Because being a pirate, piracy is going to run rampant in this game for many people. Not for Boom. I'm hunting pirates. That's just me, because I'm going to be a lawman, but and a bounty hunter. But where do you fall on that?
I'm going to play both sides of the field. I'm going to pretend to be the bad guy. Playing for the good guy, but pretend to be a bad guy, and then when they're all sneaked in, I've been nice, then I'm going to just massacre them all and steal their ship. So they're going to let me in on false pretenses, and then I'm going to take everything. And that's the way I'm going to play things.
Oh man, that's funny. I love it, because I my own brother, Neo Mental, as you know, who may or may not be in the chat, and he's not a shill. He didn't get any checks. Sorry, brother, I did. They're signed by Microsoft, not by Phil. I'm disappointed, but it's fine. He told me that if this was multiplayer, he would hunt me down because I'm a lawman. Could you imagine that? My own brother, who's going to be a pirate. What a prick. Anyway, listen, let's bring in Hargeet Chani. Target, before I bring you in, brother, DeAndre Banks drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, Sean Layden, I don't know if he's saying that Sean Layden said this or Sean Layden's PlayStation is dead. This is Jim Ryan's show. Well, that's I think the reason why you have all of these games that are where they went, that they're going gas games is because that's the Jim Ryan PlayStation. You want to say something, Hargy?
Yeah, no, I agree with him. Like the Sean Layden plan, that PlayStation is now gone. It's done.
Yeah.
This is now the Jim Ryan era, right? Everything from here on out is Jim Ryan.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It is what it is, and you're going to get at least 2 first-party games per year, hopefully. You got one for this year, Spider-Man, which is going to be dope. I can't wait to play it. But I don't know if you're ever going to get 4 bangers. Four AAA, bangers as you did in 2018, 2019, 2020. I don't think those. I think those days are long behind PlayStation. Sir X-Man drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "What are the trolls going to do when Twitter dies? I find a new social media something. I know Instagram is doing something. I know that there is Facebook is doing one as well. I don't know. I hope Twitter doesn't. I like Twitter a lot, to be honest with you.
Boom, quick shout out as well, by the way. Over 2K. So thank you for help pushing that over on our 3rd birthday.
Excellent.
Thank you to the awesome community.
Excellent, brother. Thank you so much, folks. And continue. Pile in those subs. Let's not stop at 2K. Let's go for 3. I mean, why not? But congratulations on that. Well deserved. You work really hard. You and the guys over there. You put on a great product. And listen, happy to have that done here live on the air. Obviously, the more you can advance your YouTube channel, folks, it does. Let me say, like I said, if you're just a listener of podcasts, right? Maybe you don't understand the correlation of how difficult it is to garner growth on your channel, even when you're doing the right thing. I'm very lucky. We're 231 subs away from 13K. That's bonkers. Hopefully we get it. I'd love to get it tonight. That'd be pretty dope. I don't know if we have that many people that are on sub, but if you're not sub, please, consider subscribing. But yeah, these milestones do mean a lot, and it means a lot to me as a content creator when I can have people come on the show, push their brand, because that's really what it's about. Everyone knows who Mr. BoomStick is. That's fine. But I want to push other people's brands, and this kind of triumph live on the air is what we live for. It's fantastic. So thank you for whoever subbed, getting past 2K, and like I said, continue with those subs. Highlander 001 drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "Evening Boomin' Panel. You want to play a Western RPG, you need an Xbox or PC, as they will not be on PlayStation. I pre-ordered the $300 edition. Dude, that thing sold out mad quick. I don't know if you can even find it if they restocked it, but a lot of people bought that edition that comes with the watch, which looks dope. We have True Iron Leg. What's going on, brother? Welcome to the program. He drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "I'm ready for this game. I ordered the collector's edition and booked a week off from work." That is dope, dude. I love that. For Starfield, I'm going to build a Star Destroyer. What will you build? I actually put a picture, and I had found a ship that I thought was really dope. It was black. It had blue lighting. And my ship is going to be called Hunter's Galaxy. That's my ship because, well, I'm going to be hunting pirates. And on the ship, I was able to find a pirate skull with the swords, and I put a crosshair right on his forehead. It came out dope. I'll repost it on Twitter. But yeah, that's my name of my ship, Hunter's Galaxy. I can't wait to play this game. We have John Wolf dropping a very generous $5 super chat and says, "Boom, sending you the super chat from my Ferrari I got from Aaron Greenberg. Let me know when I can visit you and Mrs. Boom in the new mansion." Yeah, brother, it's a mile down, so you're gonna have to push the button, and we'll get to you. It's a long line to get into the Boom mansion. I'm sorry, brother, but I'll give you the key. You go around the side. It's fine. I love it. I can't believe we're talking about shill checks on this show. It's so ridiculous. DeAndre Banks just a very generous $2 super chat and says, "Game of the year if they land Starfield. Bethesda is back." Yeah, I mean, look, if we didn't see what the game look and play like, I'd say this is a waste of a topic. But we got a chance to see 45 plus minutes, and man, it looked so freaking good. I'm all here for it. We also have Highlander 001 drops an additional very generous $2 super chat and says, "Gonna build the Razor Crest and go pirate." The Razor Crest is dope. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people posting that as well. Why not? I mean, who doesn't like the Mandalorian? But Harky Chani, let's talk Starfield. And again, this is one of those hypothetical kind of a questions because we don't have the game in our hand, but we did get a chance to see it. And the way people, again, there's a feverish pitch that has not been seen on an Xbox game of this caliber in a very long time. You obviously, you're on several podcasts. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone's excited about it. I'm kind of wondering, do you feel that it already has legendary status, and it could that be a detriment because everyone's putting it on this high pedestal, and we're all hoping that it does deliver?
Yeah, that is a problem, right? We shouldn't go over crazy, right? But look, this is a Bethesda game, and those games are always an event. When they come out, they're always an event.
Indeed.
And I would expect this to be no different. We get a double whammy. Yes, this is the first big Xbox exclusive in a while, but it also is a first big Bethesda game in like 8 years, right? This is a big deal, right?
Yeah.
This is a Todd Howard joint.
It's also the first new IP in 25 years.
Yeah. This is a big deal, right? So, and I know there are some out there who don't give Xbox credit for things that they purchased, but if they did actually change like the direction of the release, like it was coming out and they were going to release this in 2021. And here we are 2 years later because Xbox said, no, take your time, spend the time, make it better, expand the game, do what you need to, right? So, and we're getting confirmation from Todd himself. They expanded what they wanted to do, right? They were able to open up a bit more because, hey, Microsoft said, don't worry about it, we got you, right? So go make the game the way you want to make it, right? The cash issue that they were running into as Bethesda went away, right? So are we going to get credit for that here with Xbox? Probably not, right? The same people are going to say Redfall, 100% Microsoft's fault, and Starfield, 100% not Microsoft, right? Okay, fair, whatever. It is what it is, right? This is just what we get. There's always goalposts. As far as me, I've already bought the $30 expansion. I'm already ready. I put it on my PC. I'm going to try it on Xbox. The beauty is it's all cross everything. So I bought the $30 thing. I have it on PC and I have it on Xbox. I'm going to have the same save. It's like they just do that. I love Xbox for this, right? You do whatever you want, wherever you want. They don't care, right? So It's great. I'm going to try it, see if it flows well on the Xbox. It probably won't. Do I have a 4090? I'll go to the PC, play this game. I'm already looking forward to it. Is it legendary status? I mean, I would be very disappointed if this doesn't land. From every indication, it looks like it will, right? And like when that like 40-ish minute thing happened, we're like, dude, what is this game not doing? Right? That's literally what Cog was sitting right next to me was saying. What does this game not do? Right?
Yeah.
It just kept coming and coming and coming. Oh, you can do this, and then you can do this, and then you can do this. And like, oh my god! Like, and then like each one of these is like 100 hours things that you can just go do, right? And you're like, holy crap, this game is gonna run forever. And as you said, like it's a Bethesda game. Like it's not a like linear thing. Hey, when you go to this point, that mission will start. No. Things are just happening all the time. Every playthrough is unique. The creators themselves go in and say, "Oh, I didn't even realize that was going to happen," because that's what it is. It's an open systems game, and like Bethesda's like one of the only ones who does something this crazy, right? This is going to be a fun game. I can't wait for the mods. They have like 900 planets to go make into whatever they want, right? Like there's so much that they could do with those that are left alone. They're just there waiting for somebody to come in and throw whatever they want there, right? So God only knows what we're gonna get, but we'll see what they do with it, right? But yeah, there's 100 planets that have stuff on them that we have to go visit. 100 planets. That's
I wonder, Hargeet, if I mean, first of all, if you've never played a Bethesda mod, like they have done, first of all, they've hired some of these people And I know that there's a mod out there. There is Fallout London that they made from scratch. Some of the Skyrim things have been bonkers. I'm wondering if someone is going to take the time, and again, this is the modding community we're talking about. Could you imagine if you obviously activate mods and you find someone makes a Fallout planet you land on? Like, how freaking bonkers crazy? Or what if they even make a Skyrim or an Oblivion planet? Like, could you imagine a medieval, like you come across
It doesn't
dragons?
Honestly, Boom, it doesn't get talked about enough. I think that's one of the not even hidden things about it, but one of those things that's been off the radar. They've kind of been low key about it. This is, I think, potentially going to like redefine how you think about mods in a game.
Yeah,
because they have before, right? They did that previous Bethesda single player games, RPGs have set the bar in mods and replayability, and this one just has exponentially more possibilities now.
Yeah, I mean, consider that they're gonna assume they get ABK. They have that. They have the Xbox catalog. What could you do with crossover stuff in that and have all sorts of fun things on certain planets?
yeah.
It's just so much
No
possibility,
limit.
right?
Yeah.
So it could be very interesting, right? But yeah, look, as far as the legendary status of it, there's a like, how long is this generation, right? We might have another 4 or 5 years, right?
2028 is what the rumor, right, is, right? So it's another.
Microsoft said, right? Yeah, they said that in the filings in the court that this generation will go to 2028. So we have about 5 more years. The issue, though, is games take so long to make that I don't know what else is really coming that would supplant it, right? So ES6 could come along, and that would definitely be one that could supplant it, right?
Yeah, of course.
But is that going to come? So Phil's saying that's 5 years out. So maybe at the tail end of this generation that comes out, or maybe that should just be a launch title for the next generation.
Yeah.
This is why you need the Series Y, whatever the heck it is, right?
Yeah.
You need to have this to play the next Elder Scrolls. Like what a launch title that could be, right? Just imagine that's what you launch with. Like that alone, just kill everything. Whatever, it doesn't matter. You've got Elder Scrolls 6 as your launch title, man. That would be crazy, right? But hey, this is a potential for them. And so you might be right. This could be like one of the biggest games, at least on the Xbox side, of the generation. We don't know if there is anything else in the pipeline that can really match what this is.
Well, Halo's not coming, right? That's again,
probably 5 years out. Yeah.
Right. So could think about this. You talk about launch times. Could you imagine the next Xbox launches the new Halo and Unreal Engine 5 and Elder Scrolls and a Call of Duty and
right?
It's crazy.
Don't tell Lena. But yeah,
don't tell me. I mean, whatever. Because look, they just launched the PlayStation with Spider-Man, and then they released Horizon, and I mean, like they had a whole bunch of God. Like, there's plenty of things that they could do, right? So some of those got delayed, but that was their launch plan, right? Is to have all that stuff at launch window. That's a pretty good launch, right?
Yeah,
it is what it is, right? And things get delayed, that's fine, whatever. But if that is the launch of the next generation, then yeah, this could be one of the biggest games. Now look, there's a Gear 6, that's a potential.
Yep.
I still don't see Gear 6 being more epic than Starfield, right? Starfield is its own thing. This is a Bethesda game, right? So it's going to be its own thing. I don't know what else you can call at this caliber. There's Zelda, right? That's certainly at that caliber, but fine, it's a different platform. I don't know that you could say a sequel is going to be something like this, though. It's a new IP from Bethesda that expands its horizons to ridiculous levels, right? So this could be, you might be right, one of the biggest games of this generation. We'll see if there's something that can supplant it. But as of now, I going into that showcase, I was like, Zelda is already gaudy. It's done, right? Coming out of the showcase, I'm like, I don't know. Like, this is a good toss-up at this point. As if this lands, I can't say for sure it's Zelda, right? This has some potential to really give it a push, right? This could become Game of the Year. It definitely has the potential, right? So, if it does that, if it lands, yeah, this could really be the biggest game of this generation. Now something could surprise us. That's totally
Of
fair.
course. I mean, there's so many games coming out this year that you don't know, but I'm just saying that, based on, I mean, there's so much excitement surrounding this game, Hargeet. Like everyone, look, I'm going to speak for myself. I'm not going to speak for, Gaz or Asa or Rand or Jez. I'm going to speak for myself as a gamer. I know that when I'm playing a game, like right now, I'm playing obviously Halo, and I think, what am I, almost 16 days in? I can't get enough of it, right? It's fine. I'm actually afraid to start something big because I don't want to be, because I'm a map guy. So I go and I spend, like, you'll beat the game in 40 hours. You're like, boom, 40 hours, I was done. And I'm moving on. And that's not how I play. A 40-hour game for me is 5 times that, because I like I said, here's my point of contention, and I look over here and I'm like, oh,
yep, that's how I'll be playing it too. Right? It's
hello there, shiny thing.
Yeah, literally, right?
That's over there.
The mission is, I'm going that way. I want to go see what's going on over there, and that's the beauty of a Bethesda game, because something will be happening over there, and you'll miss it if you don't go there, right? So
I don't want to miss anything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So just go explore. That's the beauty of these games, right? So. Yeah, if you really wanted to keep playing, you could keep playing over and over. That's why these games get played so much, is because every playthrough is new, and you can keep like I went this way that time, I will go this way, I'll go this way, I'll go this way. Like, and every single time you'll find something new, and it's crazy, but that's what it is. So,
and I'm not so much into achievements. Like Halo, I got half, like I think, like literally split down the middle, and I'm like, I don't even care because I'm having so much fun. That's the same thing with Starfield. I mean, I'm gonna lock achievements, and obviously love to get all 1,000 or whatever else is going to be available on the back end with the DLC and stuff. But see, that I wouldn't even care, because I'm just going to play the game and just build ships and kill pirates and find alien life. And I can't wait to get into it. Kay Asante, let's bring you into the conversation about Starfield. And first of all, we got a couple more super chats here. We have oh, hi. Let's see. No, we got, okay, Spartan661. He says this after dropping a very generous $2. Starfield is game of the year, and I'm getting the watch edition. Yeah, dude, I could not say no to that. I'm not going to lie. No, normal Bethesda games, they come with helmets. So I was hoping for like a space helmet that I could wear while I'm playing, like a big nerd, which I would have probably done and taken a picture and posted it. But the watch is dope. I have all the Bethesda collectibles. I have like the Doomslayer one here. I got the Fallout 76 one as well. For you, you're probably playing on PC. You got a monster rig that you made, right? You did an incredible build. For me, now I'm not a PC guy, as everyone knows that, but the ROG Ally is gonna be my portable Starfield machine. I can't wait to use that. Has it? Okay, so based on what you've seen, what you've heard, the fever pitch with this game, has it gotten to legendary status? And it's not even out yet, man. That's crazy.
So I don't buy special editions normally. I don't buy physical editions of anything because I have a lot of physical stuff in my house, and I tend to not want to keep it around. Well, not even that I don't tend to keep it around. I tend to keep things too long, and then it ends up being trash later. So I tend to not be that guy. So long story short, I do have the $300 edition with the watch coming, and I have the physical edition, and I also have the headphones, and I also have the controller, which I was slothed about. So long story short, I am completely a fraud. So that's where I am with Starfield. No, honestly, this is going to be a game of games for many generations to come. I suspect this will be something that people talk about for quite some time. Everyone can from what I can see, everyone can pull out pieces of other games because it kind of is a lot of other games kind of stitched into one ultimate game, right? And usually that tends to be like, where that tends to bring red flags, or why others wouldn't do it, is because if you try to put too much into one thing, not any one thing is successful. But of course, Skyrim and other past Bethesda properties have proven to us that they can do that, and they're uniquely qualified to do that, right? That just the physics alone in their games, just the just the capabilities of being able to grab every solitary thing on solid ground and like, you know, pick it up, even things that aren't necessary to be picked up in the world, they still let you pick it up. They are so crazy in their detail that it turns the game into something that no other game can even aspire to get. All that comes together and tells me that this will very much be a very, very revolutionary title. I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays on console, especially because games like this, obviously, people build PCs for it. You know, I have a really good PC, but don't get me wrong. Just because I have a good PC doesn't mean that's where I'm going to be playing it solely. As Hargeet has said, one of the what has come to pass where I am when I find myself gaming more often than not now is on Xbox instead of Steam, because hey, if I'm on console, here it is. Here's the my save. If I happen to be on my handheld device, here's my save.
Yeah.
Wherever I happen to be, here's my save. Right. So that tends to really kind of be the edge out over the others. Right. There are some game publishers and companies who, to their credit, have given me an in-game way of doing that, but no platform has let me do that more than Xbox has. So that's why I tend to be that way. So, you know, even if you're a quote unquote a PC gamer, you're an Xbox gamer, right? So, you know, I look forward to playing this in the cloud, look forward to playing this natively on the box and seeing how many frames I can achieve. Look forward to playing this crippled on a handheld. Like, it'll be playable everywhere, and I will be playing it everywhere. I'm super excited.
You know, and it may not be that crippled.
I'd be surprised. Yes,
I used the ROG Ally over the weekend for the first time, really away from home. And I was surprised how well the streaming worked. Don't tell me FTC, but the streaming was like, I honestly forgot I was streaming after a while. And in a game like Starfield, that's stats based, like it's not, you know, like a 5% difference in your accuracy is really not going to make or break the experience.
True.
Like,
absolutely.
That could be the perfect game to stream.
You know what? OBM, I'll do you one better. You'd be surprised, and I know people are dubious of the results. But, you know, I have my ROG Ally gang in the spot now, and there are more and more of you coming. You'd be surprised at how well that thing will run natively. We look forward to testing it out. You know what I mean? And of course, you know, the PC market or the PC thing hasn't been everybody's cup of tea. But when you have it in your hand and you can choose, hey, maybe I'll decrease the frame rate, decrease the resolution, and get a bit of frames, and you know, we'll see how that goes. It will be an interesting, you know, test that people will do, and more folks will get a chance to do it. But it's exciting times, and they allow you to do that, you know, mods and all that stuff too. So yes, I mean, short of, I don't know, what can Tears of the Kingdom do? I think that if this lands, like as everyone has said, if this lands exactly as it was shown off, it will overtake for Game of the Year. It just will. Yeah. Because clearly Tears of the Kingdom did great work. No one's taking anything away from it. Right, it did really, really excellent work, but it looks like the reason why this one might deserve it more is that where Tears of the Kingdom elevated both in gameplay and elevated in gameplay, it looks like this is elevating in gameplay and graphics and all the other aspects that Nintendo just unfortunately can't hang with due to its limited hardware. So I do look forward to seeing where this all goes. It is absolutely exciting times, and we don't have that long to wait. I'm
2 months now. Now it's 2 months. Jay Rambert on Twitter said, "Guys, Microsoft came through, and he's holding a stack of 20s." I can't believe how I'm laughing. We're going to talk about it, but this thing really took on a life of its own. I saw a cult. I saw a gas. I saw so many people running with this. John Wolf in the Ferrari sending a super chat. I mean, John, come on. What color is the Ferrari? I bet you it's red. Dude, red. For me, it'd be candy after red.
So can I tell you something that shows you how foolish I am? It took me maybe 5 or 6 of those tweets to finally get where they were going. I was like, what?
What's happening?
What is this all about? What's going The first few of them actually got me. I'll just say that.
When I first started seeing it, I was like, you know, so I've been called a shill. Oh, it's fine. You can have all the opinions you want. It's not really going to bother me any. You know what I'm saying? I'm Ferdinand the Bull. I just want to smell my flowers under my shady tree and be left alone. That's it. I'm Ferdinand. True Iron Leg drops an additional very generous $2 super chat and says, I hope there's an achievement to visit all 1,000 planets. That will drive people crazy, because if you're like a completist, my God, you're gonna that's gonna be some hunting right there.
That will make some people that will make the completionists angry. I don't know if Starfield is a game to play though if you're a completionist. You might have to just get some therapy or counseling before going in and do it without that approach.
So I've said this once, and I will say it again, because every time I say it, I feel like it gives me more of a chance of this coming true. If we're talking Starfield, you don't even have to give me credit for this idea. I just want the idea to come true so I can get mine. I want to 3D print my custom-made ship.
Dude,
IRL.
Yes.
That's what I want.
Oh my God.
That's what I want. Microsoft, you hear me? Don't even have to give me credit for the idea. You don't have to tell anybody where you heard it.
Quite a few $1 million ideas I'll never get credit for.
Don't ever have to tell anybody where you heard it. If you hear my voice and you think this is a good idea, people, pass it on. We want our ships to be 3D printed IRL.
Dude.
So we can have our ships with us, because obviously everybody's going to 3D print a bunch of stuff. Yes, there will have to be the clause that says you can't 3D print penises, all that stuff. But you know how people do. You know how people.
Oh my God!
You can't be 3D print. You can't 3D print the coin purse. That's not gonna work.
Yeah.
But a nice, cool 3D thing. I want to 3D print the Nebuchadnezzar. I want to do that. Please pass the message on. Let's go.
Yeah, you know what, dude? I think that's brilliant. Honestly, I think that is such a. This is, again, it's see how we're talking about it. We're having fun. We're laughing. We're joking. Everyone's coming up with different ideas. The game is still 2 months away, folks. It's still 2 months away. Like KSON thing. I got the headset. I got the collector's edition. I got the controller. I bought my brother the controller as well. I am gonna say the only thing that I haven't happened yet, and I know he's listening, is I haven't been slothed. I haven't had so I mean, maybe one day I'll get slothed, but we'll see. One bad mother. Let's get your take on this, because I compared this to the last time I saw. I mean, everyone got excited for Gears 5. People got excited for Forza, sure. Everyone got excited for a new Halo. I was one. But the last time that I could remember, and I'm not dissing Xbox. I mean, that's my brand, folks, right? But the last time I could remember that there was this much unbelievable enthusiasm for the brand, people talking about, I don't have an Xbox, I'm going to buy one, again, for me, the last time I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, folks, was Halo 3. Halo 3 had people waiting online 2 days online at Toys R Us, when there was a Toys R Us, and all these different, like that. Those are the midnight launches. And for me personally, reason why it's so prevalent is because, well, it came out on my birthday that year. Mrs. Boom bought me every controller, special edition, the console. She went bonkers. Has this already reached legendary status without even playing the game?
Yeah, a couple years ago, Sarah Bond got up on stage and she said that this is, what did she say, like one of the most anticipated or the most anticipated game of all time, something about that for the showcase. And I know there was a lot of backlash online, as you'd expect, regarding that statement. But really, if you just look at the facts of Bethesda games, like forget about our opinions and what we're excited about, but just looking at the way these games, like the legs these games have had and how big these games have been over just the course of history, I can believe that. And I think this is one of those games that's probably going to single-handedly launch a lot of content creators, like on this game alone. Like, well, I think like Maddie, like that he launched on Bethesda games back in the day. A lot of people have, and a lot of you seeing it now. Like every time you say Starfield in the title, there's thousands of views. Just a tip for any content creator: just put type in the word Starfield in your title, and it seems like people I've never heard of before just putting stuff out are just getting crazy views on it. And I've mentioned this a few different times, but for anybody who's not really sure if the hype is real or if it's sort of manufactured, go take a look at the most played games on Xbox today. On that list, you're going to find Skyrim in the top 30. You're going to find Fallout 4 in the top 35. And if you go a step further and start to segment it, like you start to eliminate everything that has multiplayer, Skyrim and Starfield, and Fallout are the top 2 out of 3 games most months. They're always up in the top 5. And occasionally you'll see Hogwarts come in there, and then it goes back out. Elden Ring was up there, and it's still up pretty high, but it's behind Skyrim and Fallout again. And right now, if you're looking at single player only games, they are Skyrim, I believe, is the top most played game on Xbox today. And the reason is there isn't. It's interesting in this copycat industry where people always, usually if something takes off or it's giant or makes billions, and we know that Todd Howard can just put a tiny fresh coat of paint on there and sell a bunch more of those games every single time. And keep in mind that actually the one that's most played right now is that's what it is. It's just a slightly spiffed up version of Skyrim. And you think about that, and you think about the fact that there really isn't a Bethesda in the industry. I don't know if there's anybody's truly tried to make another Bethesda type of game. The closest we ever got was Fallout Vegas, and that was built on their engine, kind of with their guidance, right? And nobody else outside of the Creation Engine has been able to really put games together with this scale, with this this much dynamism, the fact that you can pick up every spoon and fork in the world and pencil, and you can move it to another planet this time. Before it was you moving it to the other side of the map. Now you can pick it up, you can fly to another planet, and you can collect pencils if you want to. It's the fact that you can do we saw them show off the fact that you can collect a bunch of sandwiches from around the world. So it's the fact that you can just do silly things like that that makes these games that stand out from everything else, and why it is almost a genre unto itself. There really isn't a Western RPG that is going to give you the fill of a Bethesda game, which is why a game that's a decade old is is about a decade old, is still getting played as much as it does. So when people ask, is the hype real? It's this is the first one of these in many years since Fallout 4. And I would even say, if you ask most Bethesda fans, they would argue that Fallout 4 really wasn't it. It's a good game, but it wasn't a true Bethesda game. They try to streamline it a lot, and they took out they kind of, in order to mainstream Fallout 4, they streamlined the gameplay. They removed a lot of the dynamic RPG elements, the really nerdy things that are had been traditionally in previous Bethesda games, and this time they're going back to basics. And that, for people that are still playing Skyrim, that's like music to their ears. And you look at the industry today, and I think there's more and more people that are ready for these types of experiences. You look at Elden Ring last year, they had no business going mainstream, right? That is the
100%, dude. 100%.
Absolutely no business. I mean, that is the most that you think about games that are going to sell, tens of millions of copies. Elden Ring looks like it's trying to push you away, right? It looks like it's trying to push away the mainstream. But I think as gamers as all of us have kind of gotten older over the years, we are, I think, become more sophisticated. We're more ready for games that are deeper in terms of the all the different dynamics, and even if we have to do a little bit of homework. And the neat thing about Bethesda games is they kind of appeal to both because
Yep.
you don't have to study, you don't have to take a course. Right now I'm actually trying to learn how to play Divinity Original Sin 2, and I'm like going through videos because it's like I started it and all my builds were crap, and I'm like, oh man, I got to go back and take some classes and get a degree in this before I can play it. And they're worth it. But the thing is, what Bethesda games do is they make it so that anybody can just start the game and you get out in the world and it's just awe-inspiring. Like I remember the first time I ever stepped out in the open world in Oblivion, that was the moment that the 360 became next gen for me. And you have that type of experience, and now they're adding some, where they are mainstreaming it is trying to add more quality of life. So if you want to fast travel, they're making that a little bit more streamlined to do that. The combat, you've seen the videos on it. The combat looks like it could fit into a first person, any kind of first person game now. So somebody could just pick up a gun and just run around the world and not even worry about the campaign. And that's just the beauty of these, is not just the legs, the depth, but just it gives you so many options in terms of how you want to approach them. Whether you just want to ignore everything and just get out into the open world and start screwing around, which is, by the way, how I played all the Bethesda games. I've never beat a campaign in a Bethesda game, because I usually just get out into the world and I start doing stuff and I get sidetracked into this, this town. And then before I know it, I'm doing, I'm nice in one town and the next one I'm just an evil tyrant. It's not the kind of game you play really to beat, even though that campaign is going to be there. And and you talked about the mods. I don't know that if anybody's really ready for the types of mods people are going to put together when you got 1,000 planets to as your canvases.
Yeah.
And it's sci-fi, so you can do weird and different things. There's going to be a lot more material for modders to play with. It is, so who knows what's going to happen there. And I guess the final thing I'll say on Starfield, there's been a lot of talk over the last few years, in terms of Microsoft and, these Bethesda games. And obviously Redfall was, a face plant, right? Like we all know that didn't go, that went badly. And they didn't really do much at all, to assist that studio, because they were basically all hands on with Starfield, which is the flip side of that. I think Starfield might be the first real Microsoft game out of their acquisitions, because this was a game that was originally planned to launch somewhere between a year and a half, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago was the initial date. Phil even said in the interview that the 1 year delay doesn't even account their internal delay. This was a delay they put together for the polish, and where they have, all hands on, they have other studios in on this game right now. And it really is, if Bethesda was independently owned like they were, before the acquisition, I think it would have launched already, and they would have sold their tens of millions of copies, and they would have dealt with the bugs and everything else in the back end. I think the fact that they got a year to polish is really the first, I think, one of the first really big benefits we're going to see from a game, due to the fact that Microsoft actually purchased it. So, and hopefully it's a sign of things to come, right? Like I think it will be a turning point for the platform. And so, yeah, when we talk about game of the year, everybody's got their own opinions about what really clicks with them. I can't ever predict what other people are going to think, but I do think it's going to be a generational defining game. It is going to be something that will stand out, and you're probably not going to get another one of these until Skyrim. So,
yeah, I agree. What's interesting? I looked up the stats on how many copies of Elden Ring sold. Now, mind you, this is a Souls game, and the game is hard as balls. But somehow, it appealed to me. Now, I beat every boss except for the last one. that Loch Ness monster boss is a real MF. I died like 40 times. I tried different builds. I don't like doing that. I like my build, the way I played. I beat everybody, no problem. Well, I had problems, but you know what I mean. And that last boss just was just ridiculous. But for a game that is not supposed to be for the average gamer, it sold over, as of February 2023, 20 million copies.
That's crazy.
So think about that for a second, folks. Now, I understand Xbox Game Pass. They don't have to say it again. They're like, hey, you want to play it for $10 a month or $10.99 a month now? Come on over. And you want to buy the little extra package for like $31, you could do that. You get your collector's, your digital collector's edition, everyone's happy, right? Or you like, you know what? I'm going to buy the thing like most of us have done. All I can say is that if a game like Elden Ring that is not supposed to appeal to the masses could move 20 million copies, right? This is one of those games that, okay, so maybe they don't sell 20 million copies. Maybe they get 20 million players. But how many consoles are they going to sell? Or how many subscriptions are they going to sell? Because this isn't a one and done game. This game, you could be lost in this game. This is a life steal.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's the legs. This is so unique because single player games generally, after a few weeks, you forget about them, right? Like they're big. I mean, Hogwarts was the biggest thing, and then Jedi Survivor was the biggest thing. You look on the list right now, none of them are in the top 50. All the big single player games. This is something that not only is it going to be big initially, but there's almost a limitless between the mods, and they probably will support this longer than most games. And you said 20 million, maybe they'll get 20 million players. Boom, they sold 60 million copies of Skyrim.
Yeah, 60 million. Yeah.
And Skyrim, Elder Scrolls was not a household name when that game came out. And Fallout was not a household name when Fallout 3 came out. And those games sold, in the traditional model. This is, this being, even without it being on PlayStation, I think because of the PC audience, and I still think you can't underrate the potential. This is a portable game. Can you imagine playing a game like a generation defining game on a handheld? I mean, that's like with ambitious physics, that with the type of technical aspects of this game's going to have. I mean, people are going to be playing this for years on all types of devices, and I think it really I don't see anything else in Microsoft's pipeline or really any of their pipelines that's going to be comparable to this anytime soon.
I absolutely agree. And just for some clarification, Fallout 3 sold 12.4 million copies. Fallout New Vegas sold 11.6 million copies. Fallout 4 20 million copies. I mean,
yeah, that's
Bethesda games, they move, especially these mainline big ones. But look, what I want to do is I want to kind of just I could talk about Starfield until the cows come home, but what I want to talk about, and I want to go to Dutch first on this because Dutch is going. We got confirmation from Xbox, from actually Gamescom today. They posted it on all the social media sites that you would know and check out, that Microsoft or Xbox is going to have boots on the ground. Aaron Greenberg's talking about it. What are we going to get? I don't know. But see, that's not the only show they're going to, folks. Microsoft is making the rounds. They're going to be at Gamescom, boots on the ground at Gamescom. Are they going to show something? It's possible. We don't know. But they're also going to be at the Tokyo Game Show. And why that's important, folks, is because it has been declared by the Tokyo Game Show themselves as this being the biggest in the history of the Tokyo Game Show. Now, think about that for a second. I'm not saying that. They're saying that. Microsoft confirmed to be one of the big showers there. Now, what could we possibly see? I mean, I don't know. I mean, at this point, it's gonna be Japanese related to obviously sell the brand of Xbox, which is doing pretty good over there. I mean, they're not doing Nintendo and PlayStation numbers, but for Xbox, they're doing pretty good. And obviously, there is a JRPG in development with the Japanese studio. So I mean, it's possible. Maybe we get a glimpse. Maybe we get a trailer. I don't know if we're going to see a shadow drop or anything crazy, but maybe we'll get a glimpse into it. Obviously, we are coming off of a show which many Xbox fans declared as one of the, if not the greatest Xbox showcase probably in the brand's history. I was wondering if it was going to challenge 2020, and it leapfrogged over 2020 without it in a single bound. So you paint this picture, Dutch, right? We had the show. We saw all the first party Xbox games in development. We're all amazed. We got 45 minutes of Starfield, which we opened up the show with. ABK potentially gonna close, right? It looks good. So let's just say, for instance, we have all of this goodness. They close ABK, and we still have 3 massive shows. I haven't even mentioned the TGS, and that we know is going to be a big deal at the end of the year. But I want to kind of stay laser focused on the Gamescom, which is one of the biggest shows, especially with foot traffic. It's bonkers. You're going, Boxenberger's going. Now we know that Gaz is going. What do you expect from these 2 shows for Xbox?
Yeah, it's a funny one because it is the largest gaming convention on the planet. It's 500,000 people in terms of foot traffic. In comparison to what E3 was, E3's maximum was 62,000. So it completely dwarfs E3 by a landslide in terms of how many people actually attend Gamescom. That's not to say that Microsoft have ever previously really took Gamescom seriously as a convention, nor have anybody. They've had a lot of people have attended in terms of show floor, but in terms of actually using it as a presentation tool, they haven't used it like they have the likes of E3, etc. previously. Not in a substantial amount. They haven't done like a huge publicity drive around Gamescom like they do around kind of E3 period. That's not to say that they won't, however. I don't think it's going to be the same scale as we got in June, but I think they'll definitely have something. Now, we know from the Giant Bomb interview previously that they said, listen, if there's games that haven't been shown today that you were expecting or hoping to see, we're not done talking yet, we're not done showing yet. Like, there's a possibility that one of the many shows this year, and they mentioned Gamescom and TGS and the Game Awards and potentially another show, will be showing other things as well. Now, of course, there's a few things that I'm looking forward to at Gamescom. Primarily the fact that it's Xbox Bethesda attending, which means that there's a good possibility I'm going to see and play Skyrim a couple of weeks before it launches. Not making anybody jealous here, but I know the ability for people to play that game that early either is the likes of Gamescom, or if you're lucky enough to get a review code to Starfield, which I would hope goes out to reviewers at least a month in advance, because that's going to take some time to properly review. I'm expecting them to show something. Now, the only reason I say this is if it was just Aaron going and some of their team and doing the show booth, I don't think Phil would attend if they had nothing to show. The fact that Phil's actually going to Gamescom this year.
Yeah, dude, that's a big deal.
Like, why would Phil go to Gamescom if they only had a show floor presence? That doesn't make much sense. I would understand it if it was Aaron, because he interacts with the fans and things like that and does a load of fan stuff. But Phil usually is the lead guy there. He's the one that's showing things off and talking to everybody if there's an event. Phil doesn't usually attend these big things if there isn't something to talk about on the back end. Like, Aaron isn't the lead face of this thing. Like, it's either Sarah or Phil. They're the kind of lead faces when it comes to actually presenting or showing something off. Whether it's their own show or whether or not Phil just attends the opening night live and shows something off there and has a little moment on that. is another question, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't imagine it's going to be a lot. I think if they are showing something, it might be maybe 2 or 3 new things, which is still a significant amount compared to others. But it could be maybe 1 or 2 big games and a small game, or 1 big game and a couple of smaller games. But I definitely think they'll have something to show. But I'm excited nonetheless. It's going to be great to see what it is that they've got lined up for that. Along with TGS, I think obviously we seen last year, the year before, real push on TGS to kind of bring a lot of diverse content for that territory, to really drive and push more users and more gamers to pick up the console in Asian territories. So I can see them having a really big push at TGS, like a really big push at TGS again. And we've already seen how well they've done at the recent game show with getting Persona 3 Remake and getting the Persona 5 Tactica and getting forgotten the name of it, or the exact name of it. The new.
Oh, you're talking about that name is. Good luck with that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Keep forgetting the name of it. But getting all of these awesome Asian titles on there and these big publishers and
Big deal.
I see more of that happening at TGS. Some more awesome announcements that people are probably going to be surprised by. Their work is never stopping for that territory because there's a lot of catching up to do. So I think there's going to be a continued push to get as much of that content on the console as possible, or on the platform, should we say. But Gamescom, like I say, it's a misnomer. It's one that they haven't really took seriously before, but it doesn't mean they can't start now. And I think it's a good. And I think, again, I mentioned this before, but I think all of the platforms need to take it a bit more seriously when you're talking about presenting to gamers. There's no better place to present to gamers than somewhere that has 500,000 foot traffic. Like, it's a lot of people to show your stuff off to, and physically, in comparison to 60,000 people, which is only a football stadium full. You're talking about like more than Glastonbury, which is like one of the largest festivals in the world. You're talking about like a huge amount of people turning up to talk and look at video games and watch video games and play video games for the first time. And I think it's about time Gamescom's taken more seriously from a convention perspective and a showcase perspective. So fingers crossed this year's the first. But yeah, I think the outlook looks better now that we've seen top brass are going. I don't mean
I agree.
I think Greenberg, like I say, he would attend regardless because he's one of those that kind of goes to these shows anyway and meets all the fans and things like that. So it'll be interesting to see. But I think, if Phil wasn't going, then that would be a case of I don't know if we'll see anything. But the fact that they're having a big show floor presence and the top brass are going, I think it's something will be shown off this time. It's going to be awesome.
I can't wait. Hargeet, listen, I want to bring you in on the conversation because obviously there are 3 really big shows. The Game Awards we'll talk towards the end of the year. That they have plenty of time to show off that. Phil confirmed to be Gamescom. There's going to be a big presence. We're looking forward to that. Obviously, Tokyo Game Show. Tango could potentially show that new RPG they're rumored to be working on, which would be kind of dope. I mean, after Hi-Fi Rush and what they did with Ghostwire Tokyo, I'm ready for what they want to put out. But before we get your opinions, let me just catch up on a few of the super chats. We have Travis Rochelo. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Travis, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. He didn't even say anything. Definitely appreciate you being here, Travis, and thank you for the generosity. Sir X-Men drops a very generous $2 super chat and says he wants a Battlestar Galactica or Last Starfighter ship. I take either or, but I don't want like the big Battlestar. I want like just the little ships that shot out. That was dope. We have JFX88 drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, just a reminder, boys, we have Sword and Fairy on Xbox Game Pass. It's the Wish version of Final Fantasy. I mean, listen, it's in Game Pass. I got to download it, but I'm just so backed up on game. Who has a a ridiculous backlog. We just can't get. I mean, we can't be like Hargeet who beats everything. I can't believe you
I
actually
have
have
100 installed.
Dude, it's
crazy.
it's crazy. It's too many games and only two hands, folks. That's it. But Hargeet, what are you expecting? Because now you see, you stir the pot, right?
Yeah.
June comes, we're all excited. We didn't know what we were going to get. We were all blown away, right? Starfield, we just talked about it, blows us away. And no offense to Aaron Greenberg, he is the rah-rah guy of Xbox. We all love Greenie. He's an amazing human being on more ways than one. But if Greenie's going, well, Greenie always goes to these things, right? But Phil is going to be there. So I kind of wonder, because we kind of heard they didn't show everything. Maybe they have one or two surprises. What are you personally expecting at these two shows for Xbox?
Well, Phil is going to make sure that there's more contracts with all the content creators. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, snap. You're hanging out with Gaz too much, bro. That's all I can say.
Hey, we have to bring the sauce. That's the point, right? Anyway, so look, we have one game that has to really show yet, and it's coming out this year, and that's Forza. And so I don't know when they plan to do that, but that's a good opportunity, right? To bring out Forza in a full way, right? The stuff we got was pretty minimal, and then we got a little bit more a couple of days later, and again, it was pretty minimal. We really haven't gotten an in-depth of what that thing is going to be. We haven't actually seen it with ray tracing yet, which they promised would run at 60 FPS. I'm not sure if it's really only one performance mode. That's what we hear from IGN, but then there's other rumors that no, there's going to be multiple performance modes. I want more information, right? That game's coming out in a few months, right? Right behind Starfield. It's supposed to come out in October. I don't know what's going on with that, right? So I think that's something that they could bring there. And they do kind of owe us something on that, right? So that might be a good thing to show over there. I talked to I'm not going to say who I talked to, but while I was there, I'm like, there's a couple of things that I was kind of missing that I thought would be kind of here. Is like, there are other shows. Hint. So
yeah,
you might.
Well, actually, didn't Booty say that though? Didn't like Booty say?
I didn't talk to
Matt
Booty about that.
No, not you per se. No.
When he delivered your check.
But he did say in an interview that there are other shows. He specifically said that. Yeah.
So things I was hoping would be there are things like Indie. When we found out Indie is an exclusive, it's too bad that was leaked. That would have been a fantastic reveal, right? So that could have been one that might be ready, right? We were kind of thinking, hey, it's about time for Machine Games. It's about time for them to release something. Maybe this is the time to do that. It is still waiting to showcase their next thing. The potential for Contraband or Project Dragon, which now we know does exist, right? We got the leak. The Project Dragon is a thing IO is working on with Xbox, right? So that's a potential that they could show that. There's other games like that could show up there. We still, we haven't seen State of Decay 3, right? We haven't gotten an update on that.
Yeah.
Potential that could be there. Maybe it's far out. I don't know, right? So the things that I was looking for was fix the issues, right? And the issues we've had are 343, obviously. Initiative, right? We don't know where the heck that is. And it's been reboots and weird things and people leaving and whatever, right? What's going on with that? And then there was Undead Labs. And so, if they want to bring out something out of that, I don't know if they're ready for the 343. Maybe that's years away before we even talk about 343. But if there is anything there, that would be kind of cool. But I think it's definitely Forza because we're kind of due, right? That's coming out, not too far out, right? This is August, I think, right? That's when this is going to come up.
Well, no, October.
No. The Gamescom.
Gamescom is yes.
Is in August, right? So there'd be a couple of months away from release, right? At some point, they need to show it. I don't know if there's going to be another opportunity. I doubt that they would do it at Tokyo because this is going to be a Western-focused game as well. So I think they would do that at Gamescom, or there'd be a separate showing for it, right? But I'm expecting hopefully that will be there and show up. And then maybe a surprise. One of these games that I was expecting to see that didn't show up, like Indie, maybe it does show up there. I think Indie might be something they actually save for the end of the year at the Game Awards because it has more of a resonance with a wider audience, right? And they want to say, hey, this is a game that you have to come here to play, right? They got that exclusivity and now they want to like showcase it. I would think that might be over there. The other one that I was thinking about is Kojima, but again, like there was no Kojima at the Keeley's this summer, so that's a weird thing that usually doesn't happen. I'm guessing Kojima is going to show up at the Game Awards, and there's two things there. There's the Sony game, which is we assume is Death Stranding 2, and then whatever project Xbox is working with him on, and he's usually to the point of being able to show in a year or two, right? So to give you a teaser. They basically said we're doing something. That was about a year ago now, right? It was at the last showcase, not the one this year. So a year and a half in, might be time for a teaser. Show us what the heck this thing's about, right? So I'd expect that there. Tokyo, however, this is interesting. Usually the Tokyo Game Show was nothing. Last year, it was a lot, right? We got like Wolong, we got like the Persona games, we got like the Ni no Kunis, and they had like the Death Loop was finally coming, right? All sorts of stuff that they just dropped. Like holy crap, it was action packed. It was not a joke, right? That hey, there's like
and this year is supposed to be even bigger, dude. Like it's crazy.
And, yeah, this is all the work that Sarah's been doing out in Japan to say we have like 200 partnerships, right? This is where they're gonna bring it, and you could see some of those games that were on PlayStation just by happenstance are finally coming over. Neo, we haven't gotten those, right? Team Ninja put out Wolong, but we haven't had Neo 1 or 2. Maybe those come, right? So there's a lot of potential for that. And we don't know if there's been working with studios to make exclusives, right? Japanese exclusives. This is the time to bring that out, right? To start making that push, right? You got your big Starfield, you've got ABK that could potentially be in play at that point, and that does have some active content in Asia. All right, so they could be bringing that there, but there's also just how are they working with the studios and publishers out there? Or are they bringing more stuff from those publishers? Maybe we get something from Square, right? Then we finally do some more, bridging the gap or the divide that's been created. I assume from the acquisition talks that fell through. Can they fix that up and start bringing some content? Those are the things I'd be looking for, right? The content that skips the platform suddenly starts coming out, right? And that's what we got, a lot of that, and a lot of it to Game Pass, right? So you might be getting a bunch of Game Pass announcements, new games coming day and date, some AAA, some AA, right? That could be coming from there, some indie, I'm sure. That's what I would expect. So Tokyo Game Show would be the one that I actually expect more of this time than I do of Gamescom, where I'm expecting. Look, you got to tell me about Forza at this point.
Yeah,
that's going to be the big one, and then probably a teaser for 1 or 2 other games that they haven't shown us yet. Right, something down the road. Maybe the Project Dragon one might be cool. Something like that. Where is IO? Is that here or there? I can't remember where they're out there.
Yeah, I think so.
I think they're out in Europe, right?
Yeah, IO Interactive. I'm pretty sure they're in Europe.
Yeah, so that might be a good one to show there, right? So I just thoughts is like it's what could they possibly be showing? Like we now know about it. You might as well just tell us what it is, right? And
I agree.
It's time to like showcase some of these things. Contraband is due, but I don't know where they are with it. And I guess I believe that studio also is in Europe, correct?
So IO is Copenhagen, Denmark.
So it is Denmark, yeah. And then and that Avalanche is somewhere around the same arena, right? Maybe Sweden or something. There's an Avalanche here that's part of WB, but this Avalanche that works with them on Contraband, I'm pretty sure is out there somewhere. But yeah, so those games would be interesting to see, right? That they're European Alliance thing. So like, we might as well start showing some of these games, right? So those would be the ones that I would like to see there. But definitely Forza. It's time. We need to see Forza. They skipped it here with the showcase. They really need to show it if it's actually coming out in October. So that would be my guess. And Tokyo, I'm hoping for a lot actually. I want to see the Japanese content start flowing in. Right, let's get the content and let's get the enthusiasm behind the brand so that people come over to Xbox. Right, that's what I'm looking for there.
Yeah, no, good.
If they showed an acquisition, it'd be crazy. I don't think it'll happen.
That would be
if they had an acquisition out there, like just maybe some indie studio or something, right? Hey, we just bought this Japanese studio. Like, holy crap!
Well, you know what's funny? Let's see, what did I lose it? No, Don Zakiro in the chat says, "What if Xbox reveals Persona 6?" Can you imagine if that wow,
Oh
that
my
would
God.
be freaking
Yeah, as you know, it's the ILP,
bonkers.
right?
That's a
Saab will be losing his knees because he said that would not be happening.
But I mean,
that would be a massive, massive get Persona 6 announced by them, especially if they can get day-to-day Game Pass. Oh my God.
yeah, well, that would be. Well, I mean, they have 3 other games that are day and date, right? So I mean,
Yep.
why not Persona 6, right? That would be huge. We also have another super chat that came in from Polga Bravo. Drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "What if they Xbox showed off in collaboration with Capcom Monster Hunter 6?" Like that's another. I mean, but these are 2 studios. I mean, they're Capcom gave Microsoft 2 new IPs in Game Pass day and date, right?
Yep.
And then of course Sega Sammy, or the developer behind making all these Persona games. Those are they're going to be everywhere, but they're dropping into Game Pass day and date. And at their show, they revealed a new IP like that. That's bonkers. So why not continue that trend in 2023 at the Tokyo Game Show, which is expected to be the biggest one ever? I mean,
I mean, and Sega could be the next acquisition target.
Yeah, it's absolutely. It just so happens that they bought Rovio a couple of months ago. Works right up with what Microsoft is looking to do after they get King, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't want to jinx us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm
right?
still nervous. Let's
get to ABK first, right?
let's get ABK, then we'll get Sega. I promise. Let's bring in Kei Asante. Kei Asante, these are 2 big shows. You obviously know about Gamescom. And again, I think there is something to be said about Phil Dominus showing up there, and obviously Matt Booty, who is really the silent killer. That dude is that guy is a killer. There's no doubt about it. But he said, people said, "What about these games?" And he said, "Well, there's other shows."
Just so you know, I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt you, but his name is Booty. He has a new lease on life and in the zeitgeist. And since the only emojis we can use in the chat to denote him are peaches, that is his name from now on. His name is Peaches.
Oh, snap. The question is how big is his peach? That's what I want to know.
Pause. Darn. All right.
I mean, I figured why not go crazy if you're going to go all the way. So, I mean, what are you expecting at these shows? Because obviously Matt Booty did say that there are other shows for games that people were asking specifically about. This, I mean, Phil's going to be there, so it's going to be they're going to show something, dude. There's no doubt about it. And Tokyo Game Show, maybe Sarah's over there because she's been rubbing elbows and making these deals with all of these Japanese publishers and developers to bring that kind of Asian flair to Xbox, which a lot of us, and I'm one of them. I'm a big JRPG guy, not necessarily like a Final Fantasy guy. But I loved what they did on the Xbox 360. I mean, they had so many amazing. Lost Odyssey, it deserves a remake or a sequel or both, in my opinion. I'd love to see that come back. What are your thoughts on this, man?
Honestly, this is where I am completely serving of what Mr. Wandering Dutch has said. I'll be absolutely honest with you. I have advocated for years now. Back in the day when E3 used to be in Atlanta, I'm like, okay, at least it's somewhere rotating in the United States. I seriously dislike the fact that every year it became a situation where you have to make a pilgrimage to Los Angeles, where and it's great, it's fun. We've seen it. Some of us have been able to go there. It's awesome, but the community, as has been spoken about countless times now, is far bigger than Los Angeles. It's far bigger than these here United States, right? And more what we're finding is if you want creativity, you want inspiration, you want something amazing and incredible, you end up venturing out into the various European countries. Hopefully African countries will join it as well, and many other places. We're seeing Asian countries do magical things. We're seeing so many places representing so well in the gaming sphere that I feel like our gaming shows, especially now that we see that E3, let's be honest, is a thing of the past. E3 proper is a thing of the past. it's time to give these other game shows the credit they deserve, the respect they deserve. You know, to Dutch's point, you know, Gamescom has always been the biggest show. It has been the biggest show by its size, even when E3 was around, right? It's just for some reason they let E3 get all the news, and it becomes an awesome community show at Gamescom when it should be a lot more. You know what I mean? A lot of I like the fact that TGS, even though until to your point, Hargi, until last year when they actually started putting some real skin in the game, they would just go there and just like regurgitate announcements, right? And now finally TGS is getting some respect. I hope it heads further in that direction. And similarly, right? And you know, some people may think it's pandering, but you know that when TGS comes around, that's when you'll hear about the developers and publishing houses that matter to the Pacific location, right? Then you'll start seeing all your Atlas fair and all your various Konami and all those other things, right? How about we have Gamescom, and that's where you'll see The Witcher. That's where you'll see, you know, Cyberpunk, all these Eastern European and many other European studios that have been knocking it out of the park for years, but end up having to show up in LA to peddle their wares, right? Let's let this thing be far more worldly.
Could it be that
please.
Stalker shows up? Because that's a European game, right?
Dude,
exactly.
Yes.
Talk about something that's at the heart of Europe right now.
Yes, dude, that's a great freaking. That's
you know
a
what I'm
great
saying?
pick, dude.
Exactly.
Great pick.
And truthfully, the reason why I am advocating for that, not only because I also have friends in Europe and I go to Europe pretty often, so that's a little self-serving for me. Yes, that's true. Yes, it's true. And I will say it now. I'm saying it live on air. Come hell or high water, next year Gamescom, your boy will be there because I'm going to go see my family. So I will make sure that I go right at the time when Gamescom's happening, so you can catch me at Gamescom. I will make sure that happens next year. But the plus side on that is, for a long time now in America, it seems so outer worldly to grab a plane flight and go visit another country and go see their gamers and go enjoy their stuff. This, and we know how many gamers love to go around for events. Making it more of an international thing will get more gamers out of their comfort zone. You'll see more people traveling. You'll see us go hang out with Gaz and all and Dutch and all these other folks. As the international, as the gaming community advocates for more international inclusion, so you will see that happen in general, right? Then the idea of, hey, why is it that there's not enough localization? It doesn't become a back burner conversation. It becomes Front Street because everybody's there trying to play the same game, and we're not just pandering to one side versus another. You know what I'm saying? So I think the idea of keeping this as international as possible all the time is how we should move going forward, right? This time I don't get to come here. Next year, maybe I'll go to Mexico, or the year after that, we'll go to another country or something else. Advocate that, promote that inclusiveness all around the world, and bring more developers into the fold. I think all of us will just have more fun doing that, and you'll get to hear more voices doing that. So I think that's awesome, and I think more and more of that should happen, right? We have so many game shows in America. Let's start putting some teeth in the game when they're elsewhere as well, you know?
All right, that's a fantastic point. And I love the international, gaming is worldwide, right? It's not just America. It's not just Los Angeles. It's not just, Gamescom. It's not just Tokyo. I like the idea of, it's the travel is expensive, folks. So, if you're going to go like for E3, whatever it's going to be called, if you're going to go, it's $2,000. Take $2,000 for food, for where you're going to stay, for travel. It's $2,000 minimum. If you are willing to, and I'm sorry that I didn't reach out to Hargeet earlier, because he was like, I didn't get the invite to go, which is fine. I'm not mad at Xbox. I didn't make the list. Oh, okay, not a problem. I didn't know I didn't need to make the list, and if I would have known that, I would have flown out to LA. I'm just saying.
And to your point, Boom,
we're taking care of you.
To your point about the pricing, Boom, I know that pricing sounds debilitatingly expensive for some.
Start putting it away a little bit at a time, brother. Yeah.
But what you fail to realize is that trip to Los Angeles that'll cost you $2,000, maybe $3,000. it'll probably cost you the same price to Germany. They just regurgitate the pricing a little differently. Where you'll pay less for a hotel, you might pay more in a plane flight, and vice versa. Your trip will most likely end up being $2 to $3 grand, whether you're in Europe or you're where, depending expensive, you end up staying in the States. It's not exactly a wash, but it's possible is the point. So look into it. You might be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, listen, again, it's if I all I can say is that I was very, very fortunate enough to be schooled by the Iron Lords on how to get to E3, because I had no idea, right? I went and, you know, and teamed up with them, and we had this compound that was just legendary. You've heard the story. I stole King's Ride whip. You know, I didn't really steal it. I borrowed it, as you know, the Popo told me to drive around, so I drove around, and I did scorch the tires a little bit, but I was fortunate enough to get into FanFest from a good friend of the show. His name is Gotham Guy. He reached out to me while we had just landed. He's like, "Hey, listen, my +1 blew out his shoulder. Do you want to go?" Xbox was so good, man. He gave me the number to call. I'm like, "Hey, listen," he says, "I'm +1." I got all my passes sent to me. It was the greatest experience I've ever had in gaming. Honestly, it just was bonkers good. If you ever want to experience that, and I think that just look at the pictures that Hargeet took with Idle Sloth and the Iron Lords, and he was there with Colt Eastwood. It was Risk It from the Biscuit all the way from down under. It was a family affair, bro. It was that's the most interesting thing to me, is meeting the people in person. It's only podcast over the air. I'm definitely going next year for sure. But One Bad Mother, let's bring you in on the conversation. Confirmation that Phil's going to be in Germany. That's a big deal. The head of Microsoft Gaming isn't going there because he wants to chill. He's going there because he's going to have something to say. I think it's going to be big. Also, we know the Tokyo Game Show is going to be the biggest one. We know that they're trying to make a significant footprint or handprint in that region of the world.
Mm-hmm.
I got to be honest with you. My glass is always half full, so of course I'm going to be positive here, but I'm kind of expecting not one but two announcements, one big one at each of these shows. What are you expecting, dude?
Well, first of all, I'm expecting Phil wanted to deliver his check to Hargy in person, so that's probably
okay. I see. That's good. Good for you, Hargy. Good for you.
but no, really, you know, it's interesting because like when I stepped back and I was thinking about, you know, as we were leading up to the showcase this year, I think most of us, and I include myself in this, thought that Microsoft needed to fire everything they had in their chambers because of how negative things were early in the year, because of the Redfall, all that. We thought that they needed to go all out, and I think probably smartly against our wishes, they've held back. And you know, when you think about like some of the history of Microsoft, like so a lot of us remember when the Halo 2 original tease dropped. That was sometime like into September or October. I don't remember if it was like at movie theaters or whatever. Like they used to spread out big announcements. You know, they spread out the announcements of well, obviously, you know, purchases is one thing, but you know, the announcement of Rare, I think, came at one of their XO shows. They've revealed games at TGS back in the days. Even as late as the last generation, if you guys remember, like Titanfall was shown at E3, but it was everybody got their first hands-on with it at the Gamescom in 2013. So you know, you think about a game that big getting its hands-on, and then obviously there was the infamous Crackdown 3 demo that you know, didn't ever live up to the hype. But the point is they've done things like this before, and I think it really makes sense with Game Pass that you don't want to just kind of blow your load blow your load once a year. You know, basically fire all your shots one time every year at E3 or whatever the equivalent is now. I think it makes sense for Microsoft to try to be have a presence around the world, to try to have to get people asking questions about, oh, what are we going to see, months later again. And I think they've held back things. And the thing I don't know is like, hey, what are they holding back for Gamescom? What are they holding back for a direct at the beginning of next year? What's for Tokyo Game Show? But I feel pretty confident. Actually, I think it would be a pretty safe bet that there is going to be some things between those those different shows, that they will have some surprises, or a deep dive that on maybe a game that was barely touched on in the past. And Hargi called out one of them. I think a good candidate actually is a game like a Contraband, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
if you're gonna demo a game that has multiplayer, as we kind of learned from Sony's show, it's really, really hard to get people excited about a gas game or a multiplayer, or even a co-op game if you're just running a trailer of it. So I think a game like that, you're going to want to be able to throw out some kiosks, get people to go hands-on with it if you're excited about the potential of that type of game, right? So Gamescom would be perfect for something like a Contraband. And we know Double Fine's got stuff in the works. Kojima's probably going to show up at the Game Awards someday. Like they got stuff, and I think they're going to spread it around. And I think it's not being too optimistic to think that we will see stuff, either a deeper dive, or we'll see something brand new, because it makes sense. Microsoft wants you continuously. They want to be continuously in the conversation. With Game Pass, it does no good to just hype everybody for a short period of time and then go away. And then I think you've mentioned it too, Boom. And we're on the same page with this. Like Starfield, I feel, is kind of like the beginning of new Xbox. It's really just like I said earlier in the show, I feel like this is the first real Microsoft game from that the partnership type of game from the that really kind of demonstrates what their potential is from the acquisitions. So I know they've released other games from the acquisitions that have had some improvements, but I think this is the real big one that's going to show that. And it's probably going to be the biggest game of the generation for them, honestly. And with all that in mind, I think that they did kind of lay low. They did kind of lay low for, I think, a year or so they revealed a lot of stuff early before, and because they didn't have they needed to show people some roadmaps. But I think now with Starfield coming out, you're going to want to build on that momentum.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
yeah. So I mean, like coming out with a TGS and revealing like their next second party Japanese RPG. I mean, they've been spending money all over the place, and there's been rumors for a while that they had other second party games. So if they didn't get canceled, with their cuts in the past, you would expect that it's time to probably reveal something soon. And we know Microsoft, Phil Spencer's talked about Japan a lot. Usually when he's talking about it, he's usually actually delivering somebody a check.
Yes.
So we have to expect there's got to be some Japanese second party games in the mix somewhere. And TGS would probably be a good place to launch that. I think Gamescom's a good place to maybe show off a Contraband, get people hands on with Forza. Like I really what you want to do now is you want to take that momentum, and you want to like follow up on it really quickly, because what it's gonna end up doing is by Christmas time you're going to have your platform just in a completely different light, coming off the momentum of Starfield. So yeah, I'm pretty much on board. I do think there will be something there. I don't know what. I think some of the suggestions brought up here were good, but and I would expect, if I were betting, I would probably bet on at least one Microsoft second party reveal at TGS.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the floor is open for Microsoft to deliver. Obviously, Matt Booty said that there were other shows and there were some games that people were asking about. So I don't know what we're gonna see, but I if I'm a betting kind of a guy, and I'm really not, I would like to bet that we're gonna get each one of these shows is gonna reveal a new game. Obviously, I don't know what the Game Awards they have lined up, because it seems like it would be great for Kojima to show up there, but Kojima could also show up at Tokyo Game Show, which makes a lot of sense, right? Obviously, makes a ton of sense. Personally, I think Microsoft is set up to really, really change hearts and minds. But ladies and gentlemen, let me catch up on some of the super chats. We have Michael Mooney, drops a very generous £5 super chat and says the next Call of Duty reveal potentially is due at Gamescom. I mean, I don't see why not. Hopefully, by the time Gamescom, they have already closed ABK, which would be kind of dope. JFX88 drops an additional, very generous $5 super chat and says, can someone tell Microsoft to get Capcom to remake Power Stone 2 and put it on Game Pass? Okay, so Power Stone is dope. How there's not a remake or a remaster of 1 and 2, I have no idea. But before we get those, dude, I'm going to be honest with you. I got to see Resident Evil 2 remake kind of a game, a development hit Dino Crisis. That's really what I need in my life. And Dino Crisis or Onimusha. I'd love to see those two games remade and given the same TLC as we saw with Resident 2, 3, and 4. That would be kind of dope. But yeah, we'll see. But we have also Enigmatic Dreams drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, I want to thank you, Boom, for all that you do. I found so many creators through you. Also, I don't care what anyone says. Capcom is better than Sega. Jill Valentine is better than Sonic. Sorry, Everborn. I mean, I'm not going to front, because my favorite game of all time is Resident Evil 2 98. My favorite of all time. Number 1 on the list. I beat that game 100 times. I love this. My favorite Capcom is one of my favorite developers. But ladies and gentlemen, listen, we're going to end the show a little bit early today because I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. I'm not sure why. But listen, we had an amazing conversation. Let's get to the outros. We'll get everyone out of here because I know it's super late where Wandering Dutch is. Wandering Dutch, sell your brand, brother. Talk about where people can check out your incredible podcast, which your YouTube channel just crossed 2K today, live on the air, which is great. Talk about that, and where can people reach out to you on social media?
Yeah, so thank you. A huge shout out to you as well for helping get us over the edge there at 2K. We've been teetering on that, just under it for what feels like months now. So so it's great to eventually cross that line. So thank you again for that, and thank you to the community for that. We've today was our 3rd year. I can't believe it's 3 years already. 3rd year of doing the podcast. So we're now into our 4th year doing the show. It's been absolutely awesome. So yeah, people can follow me everywhere at Wondering Dutch, at YouTube at Wondering Dutch. We are live just a matter of hours before we do primetime every Wednesday. So you've got two shows back to back on a Wednesday. You've got ours followed by primetime. So we've got a whole host of awesome European voices over on our end. Occasionally get BitCloud on there for a bit of PlayStation love. We've got some awesome creators that join us when they can. But of course, as everybody imagines, timescales are a little bit more difficult when it's mid-working day for the American audience. So getting other content creators on from the other side of the pond can be difficult at times, but we certainly manage it. But it's been an awesome show, guys. Good to be back. And we'll see you all again next week.
Appreciate that, brother. I know someone had left a message that I missed one of the member chats. I'm going to get to it right now. I'm trying to find it. For some reason, it did not pop up. I did not see it, brother. We'll get to it in a hot second. Obviously, Hargeet Chani, sell your brand. Talk about where people can check out not only Septic Sauce, but regular Sauce videos with you, Asa, Gaz, and obviously the Shill Check video should be something that we see and hopefully soon enough. Again, let me know. I'll be a part of it because I will show you folks my mansion that came the way of Xbox. It's pretty big and it's pretty dope.
We definitely are going to put that together. I don't know when it'll come out, but we've got ideas, and we'll put it together. And I'm hoping we do a whole bunch of cameos. It'd be great to get all the people that have been mentioned to be a part of it.
So ridiculous.
But yeah, so GameOnDaily.com, YouTube.com/GameOnDaily, and Septic Sauce is a separate channel that Gaz uses. We might just put the sauce over there, just to keep Game On Daily kind of more professional, I guess. But we'll see. So, but either way, so that would be YouTube.com/septic sauce. Is it septic space sauce? I don't know. I'll find that and give it to you guys. I think it's septic_sauce, but. Either way, the other ones, unfortunately, tomorrow we usually would have Zealots Gaming, but Zocker has another family issue going on, so we're not going to have that podcast tomorrow.
Okay.
We'll reconvene the week after hopefully. But otherwise, RDX next Tuesday. This Tuesday was 4th of July, so we skipped. Next week, RDX 8 o'clock U.S. Eastern Time, and of course we'll have Prime Time Gaming again next week, 7 o'clock U.S. Eastern Time. So catch me there. All right, and that's that.
And hopefully,
hopefully this freaking decision is out soon.
Yes, exactly.
I keep checking every 2 minutes.
Real quick, shout out to Gamers Play Hut Zero, channel member for well over a year, 20 months to be a fact. Thank you so much for the generosity, brother. He says, "Hello, Boom Nation. Hope your 4th was awesome." Mrs. Boom and I didn't do nothing. We had hamburgers that she made from scratch, some pasta salad that she made from scratch, which was really good. We played Animal Crossing for, I don't know, about 6 hours. We watched movies. It was great. We didn't go outside because people drink and drive, and we're not trying to get run over. So, yeah, there's that. But I hope you had an amazing 4th. He also says, glad to see you back at the Pilates. Yeah, today was day 1. Week 1, day 1. I lost the other 5 weeks, but it's fine. You know, my health is more important, and obviously I'm back. So I'm doing that 5 days a week, and I'm gonna start slow, but thank you for that. Appreciate the encouragement. And he says Xbox Tokyo Game Show may have a huge Sega push. Shh, don't tell everyone. I don't want to say the S word again because a third time he's gonna pop in here like a candy man. That's just who he is. Kay Asante, sell your brand, brother. Talk about your Saturday show. Obviously, not only do you have a Saturday show, you got a Monday show. Obviously, each and every week, and it's PC based. You're working with John Wolf. You're educating the masses about PC gaming and inviting people into PCMR. Talk about it. Sell those shows, and more importantly, where can people reach out to you on social media?
Well, first and foremost, I would say thanks to everybody that showed up here as usual. It's always one of the highlights of my week, especially this week. I feel like it's going back to normal between all the days off and the vacation. I need a vacation from my vacation. This is awesome to come back and hang out with you guys. Huge salute to the man, the Wandering Dutch, for hitting that 2K. That's awesome. They do great work there. So please, folks, if you haven't checked out their stuff, keep hitting that like button. Keep subscribing to their stuff. I'm always watching, even though I may not be in the chat with Dutch. You're a companion to me during my workday, and I appreciate you, sir. So, of course, and of course, you know, all the other guests we have on here, OBM being the unofficial third chair to my show. He shows up whenever, out of nowhere, he'll just pop in, and it'll be a great show welcome. Because of it. So we appreciate that. So yes.
I found the master key. It works.
It's all good.
You're the master of unlocking. There you go.
And of course, we have Hargeet, who represents, you know, the great Game On Daily, which I'm also a huge fan of, and I'm digging the Zealots of Gaming, bro. I'm hoping more and more from you guys on that front, because I tend to be a person who gets high on his own supply. I'm a podcaster, and I love podcasts. The more, the merrier. It's absolutely great. So hopefully you guys can come and check me out as well. Myself and, of course, the aforementioned boogeyman of Sega, Everborn Saga. We do the Saturday morning show. We do the Gaming Circle podcast. This Saturday, hopefully, I expect we will know the verdict one way or another by the time our show starts at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we will have a very interesting guest one way or another to discuss it with. The one and only Paris Lily joins us
this Saturday. That's huge, brother.
So it'll be a cool show. We're looking forward to it. Either we'll be talking about how amazing the future looks, or people will be licking their wounds, and Paris will be laughing at Everborn for thinking that Sonic is gonna beat Mario. But that's neither here nor there. On Monday night, as Mr. BoomStick has pointed out, myself and John Wolf are doing a more PC-like show. And I say PC-like because all are welcome, including my handheld brothers, my ROG Ally gang. You're all welcome. We're doing PCMR 101, we call it. We're demystifying the monolith known as PCMR. Come join us. If you have any questions, you want to talk about any topics, anything, any way of making your hardware shine, or any things you don't understand, you talk to us. We all learn together. And that is on Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you guys once again so much. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you, brother. Definitely appreciate you being here. And of course, very special guest, One Bad Mother. Obviously, you got some things you're working on behind the scenes. We appreciate you taking the time. Why don't you talk, if you're ready to talk about it, let us know what you got going on so we can help promote it. And more importantly, where can people reach out to you and strike up a conversation on social media?
Yeah, so follow me. First of all, thanks, Boom. It is, I say it every time I come. It's always therapeutic just to come here and talk about gaming, especially getting a chance to talk about things that things that I'm excited about. After busy work days and everything in real life, man. Yeah, and we all know as we get older what real life is. So, really, this is just a nice chance to get away, and I hope you're feeling better.
I got a little bit of a raspy throat. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna take some Airborne for a couple of days, some zinc and some vitamin C, and get myself back together.
Well, we got that smoke stuff blowing in here, and I think that's why I'm losing my voice too, is from all that breathing it. And I got this smoker's voice coming, and I've never smoked in my life. So, yeah, man, hopefully you're feeling better. But yeah, if people want to find me first, you can find me on Twitter at Mutha_1, MUTHA_ONE. I am working on things. I finally have a name. I was actually after a gaming circle with Everborn and Kayasante, I ran through some stuff. So I got a thumbs up. So I'm going with it. And I'll announce when I have more. I'm going to be putting out a channel that's going to be focused on videos instead of podcasts. So I won't, because it's hard really to fit in a time that really works for everybody these days. But I'm going to throw out some videos, and I like to get into the weeds of things. So people that like to get deeper into things, that'd be a place for you to keep a lookout for. But otherwise, man, great times, and it's awesome seeing everybody.
Well, thank you. Appreciate you being here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with us for nearly 2 hours. Hopefully you enjoyed the conversation. You had some laughs. Yeah, we made a lot of jokes. And again, this is a fun podcast with a bunch of guys hanging out and talking shop. Hopefully you enjoyed it enough to hit the like button. If you're new, finding the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing. We are officially 225 subscribers away from 13K. And I'd love to hit that sooner than later, of course, because obviously the goal is 15K for 2023. We shall see if I can get that done. But we don't have a podcast without you subscribing and tuning in and hitting the like button. So a big thank you for that, and of course, a huge thank you to all of the super chats that came in. They continue to power the show and giveaways, as well as, of course, as keeping up to date with the equipment and buying the programs that we need to keep this show running 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, as we do. And of course, I'm going to close out the show, folks, with something that's important to me. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught me with kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, Craig. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. BoomStick and Friends.